Friday, February 7th. We begin where we left off on Monday. The world of economic data is what pushes interest rates up and down. Bad news takes us down, good news takes us up. Good news means the risk of inflation. Bad economic news means less chance of inflation, better chance that the Fed may cut interest rates. The world of economic data is and will remain for at least another month, pre-Wuhan and post-Wuhan. The data that we got this morning from January payrolls was ideal. Modest gains in income, the count of newly employed, a little bigger than expected, but part of that's because January is weird. January is the month in which holiday employees wind up laid off, and it's very hard to adjust the numbers for that kind of seasonal transaction. Other data that came out the first week of every month, the ISM survey of purchasing managers, fine. There had been some thought a week ago that the U.S. economy pre-Wuhan had begun to soften. No, it's fine. So here we got good economic data, and rates slid back down. If we were dealing just with U.S. domestic economic data, strong enough that there's no chance that the Fed's going to cut interest rates anytime soon for that reason, our rates should be back, mortgage rates should be back up around 4, and instead they're closer to 3.5. So the equation is inevitable. Wuhan, and there are some markers. Foreign investors, especially who are worried, bring money to the United States to buy U.S. treasuries, not so much U.S. mortgages. If foreign investors buy enough treasuries for long enough, then mortgages get pulled down. But the marker in this one is international fear. It's also a Friday. Last week, this week, it's common for everyone to want to protect themselves in the case of a surprise over the weekend. And the Wuhan surprises, there are some normal ones and some just crazy ones. The normal ones are, we have not had a significant pandemic since the 1918 flu. We don't know how a flu pandemic, this one is very contagious, although mortality is low as long as there's medical treatment. We don't know how the global economy will respond to a pandemic. Maybe significant, maybe not. The second perfectly normal thing is it's too soon to tell. But the abnormal thing is there's no power on earth that'll make China tell the truth. The notion that there are only 31,000 cases in China is ridiculous. The population of Hubei province, Wuhan the capital, interior China, not the even more dense coastline. Population of Hubei is 95 million people. At all accounts, even around China's censorship, Hubei province has been isolated from the rest of China, and it's pretty much on its own. So China says 31,000, maybe add a 0. In another 2 weeks, maybe add 2 zeros. We don't know. There is no news whatever about Wuhan from North Korea, with really thin medical infrastructure. So anyhow, we get the benefit of a good economy, no complaints. We do not yet have Wuhan here or in Europe or in most of the West, and keep your fingers crossed. Have a nice weekend.